have the tangibles that we're supposed to get.
Let me ask you. And I asked the same question to another young man on here. Have you guys lobbied Congress and the Senate on the check?
Have the tangibles that we're
Have you
supposed to
had
get.
sat down and met with
Let me
these
ask you.
people? If so,
And I asked
tell
the
us some of the
same
people you met
question to
with. Another
smart
young
before
man
your own. You're
on
so
here.
smart
Have you guys
to the people in power.
lobbied
On the reparations,
Congress
Nobody.
and the Senate
ones
on the
extremely
check?
active, the
Have you
tangibles that we're
have you
supposed to
had
get.
sat
Talk
down
about
and met with
Let me
these
ask you.
people? If so,
And I asked
Foundation
tell
for
us some of
Black
the people you
Americans
met
and
with.
Biden said that
Another
they would do
smart
young
immediately,
man
but they
before your own.
on
You're so
here.
smart
Have you guys
to the people in power.
lobbied
on the
Go sit down
reparations,
with them and
Congress
say,
and the Senate
deflecting.
ones
That's
on the
extremely
check?
active,
So
the
have you
tangibles that we're
have you
supposed to
had
get.
sat
Talk
down
about
and met with
tangibles.
these
ask you.
people? If so,
And I asked
tell
Foundation
us
for
some of the
Black
people you
Americans
met
and
with.
Biden said that
Another
they would do
smart
young
immediately,
man
but
you
they
met with.
so
Here.
smart.
Have you
That's
guys
raised the people in power.
lobbied
on the reparations,
Congress
You're
and
so
the Senate
smart.
ones
That's
on the
extremely
check?
active,
So
the
have
tangibles that we're
have you
supposed
had
to
sat
talk
down
about
and met with
tangibles.
these
you.
people? If so,
You're so smart.
Foundation for
tell us some of
Black
the people you
Americans
met
and
with.
Biden said that
Another
they would
Had
do
young
marched with
man
that
you met
same
with.
rhetoric.
Have you guys
Raised the people in power.
lobbied
on the reparations,
and the
So
Senate
smart.
ones
on
extremely
the check?
active,
So
the
have you
tangibles that we're
have you
supposed
had
to talk
sat
about
down and met with
tangibles.
these supporters? If so,
That's what we're
some of
doing
the
in
people you met
October.
with.
Biden said that they would
Had
go
marched with that
150
you met
this
with.
October. We got a big
Have you
rally
guys
right now,
lobbied
and we're going to put it all right now.
Congress and the Senate
For
on the
extremely
check?
active
So
tangibles that
and
we're
have you
supposed to
had
talk
sat
about
down and met
tangibles
with these
done about this
supporters?
homeless problem, especially out here. That's what we're doing in October. Biden said that they go 150 this October. We got a big rally right now, and we're going to put it all right now.
Congress and the Senate
For extremely active
so
tangibles that we're supposed to talk about tangibles done about this homeless problem, especially out here. That's what we're doing in October. Biden said that they go 150 this October. We got a big rally right now, and we're going to put it all right now. For extremely active tangibles that we're supposed to talk about tangibles done about this homeless problem, especially out here. They start giving. That's what we're doing in October. Biden said that they go 150 this October. We got a big rally right now, and we're going to put it all right now.
I didn't know you until Twitter, and once we got on Twitter, a lot of people know you. You're very influential young man and very powerful. You got a group of people that are very active, and they're for the cause. And not only do I didn't know
These
you
people
until
are
Twitter,
aware.
and
These people are
once
aware
we
of
got on Twitter. your movement. I mean, they're aware of the people that are affiliated with what you guys are fighting for. I'm just trying to figure out, you know, like, I would think, I would think you would go to Capitol Hill and sit down in their face, because I don't. It ain't like you don't sound like no scared dude. Like,
Right.
go sit
Yeah,
down with them and say, hey, look here, man. This is what we want. This is what we want. And if you don't give us what we want, then when it's time for your ass to run in 2 years, then we gonna mobilize and get you out.
yeah. Well,
Now, watch the answer.
that's what we're doing in October. We're actually going to
Okay.
Washington, D.C. this October. We got a big rally that we're planning right now, and we're going to put it all on the line. We need something specific for us. We're going to need a hate crime bill specific for us. We're going to need something done about this homeless problem, especially out here in places like California and other places that's affecting foundational Black Americans. And we're going to put it on the line and let them know exactly what
3 hours later.
we need. We're going to have to get them to do something about all of these white supremacist groups within law enforcement, Democrats to come in, but all of these police killing Democrat-run cities. So we can't keep you to support you if you're not doing any order and all of that, because we're being golden guns. We've been supporting them for the last
God
60
damn.
years. We really need them, which is us, foundational Black Americans.
But you
So
guys
so
aren't
you're
voting
going
this
so you're
cycle.
going so
So
so let me just quick, this is a quick one, Steve. So you're going in October, you're gonna meet with all 400 and some more Congress folks and those 100 senators. You're gonna go up there and meet with them. Is it
Yeah, right. I mean, this is third time asking that question. Like, so are you gonna meet with them? Yes or no?
a wrap? You're going to meet with them and tell them basically, this is what we want. This is our platform.
Well, we're going to go
Correct?
to Washington, D.C. If they want to meet up, that's fine, but we're still going to go up there. We're not going to.
My God. This guy is avoiding the meeting. Wow, man. At that point, like, you gotta know that your boy is, ain't anything, right? He's not SHIT. He's avoiding the meeting. What do you got to hide, man?
Book a formal
Yeah.
meeting, but we're going to have the media out there and we're going to have the grassroots mobilized out there in Washington, D.C., and get all eyes on the streets to let them know what the
3
message is.
hours
Because
later.
whenever we have protests out here, what the Democrats will do, they will send in controlled opposition. They will send some trans are dying too. We don't want any more Democratic shills. We don't want right-wing shills, because I'm not a right for my people. Foundational Black being on them, but who's an immigrant should show here. They would not be here in the early 1900s, bashed in to get.
He just want to know, are you going to meet with the 400 congressmen? I guess that's what he's asking.
Brothers and sisters and more Stokely Carmichaels over the Candace Owens,
God.
we also have a problem with to support
What's
us,
the
and who's
answer,
going to
man?
yes, by
Well,
calling them tethers. Absolutely.
hey, Tariq,
good luck with that strategy.
Now, watch what this sister say. Oh my God, yo, they was ready for him today. Like that day they was ready for him.
Well, hey,
I have a
what are they
I have a
going to do
question.
about it?
Well,
It ain't
Tariq,
enough for y'all to stop it. So it's
Okay,
fine.
okay,
Yes,
okay,
it
okay,
is.
okay,
Oh, yes, it
okay,
is.
okay. Let's stay here. Let's stay here.
hey, Tariq, I have a question for you, because I
Yes,
think
ma'am.
that, from a policy perspective, many of us can agree with some of the things that you're speaking of, right?
Mhm.
The police violence and things that can be better in our communities. And this is our first time having a conversation. So I live here in Florida, and I am a Democratic Party strategist. Okay.
Okay, so she's a Democratic Party strategist. Got it.
So this cycle, I have my portfolio includes 68 candidates running across Florida for various seats, from school board to the governor's mansion, right? And including congressional candidates also. And our primary here in Florida is in August. So right now we are in what I call the
I'm telling you, if you listen to these guys talk, they sound like the extreme white people on the other side, right? That has this weird teaching. They're afraid to go public with it. They got websites. All they just want to do is convince the weak, the uneducated on these ideas. Like, they have no real plan of action.
messaging platform, right? We're going into media, black media, on radio, black radio.
So she's showing all the things they're doing to enforce their will, their agenda, their plan of action, basically. Like she laying it out. At this point, by him listening, you could tell he's getting intimidated. Cause she like, yo, we ain't just talking, like we're actually making hella moves.
And putting up TV ads or negotiating those contracts. And from
negotiating contracts, he's getting real uncomfortable with these questions. He's already gonna be, you could tell, you could sense he's gonna be aggressive in his response.
From a data perspective, I'll share with you, a lot of the items in this conversation are not on the, top 10 reasons for people to get out and vote. And I think particularly it's because there are no conversations being had with the elected officials. Like, I applaud you guys for, organizing and planning to go to DC. I would also encourage you, as Luke was saying, to sit down and have these conversations.
Oh, no. People like Umar, Tariq, they seek no independent advice. They got it all figured out, right? They do not accept advice because to them, by pointing out something that they didn't already think of or a good idea that they haven't thought about already, they take that as they're not official, right? They shouldn't be trusted. Their viewership is let down, and they are not the person who they were supposed to be before the people. That's how they take advice, outside independent advice.
With the elected officials that represent you in your home communities and are going to be present in DC as well. The reason being is because a lot of these campaigns are built off of data, and a lot of that data comes from grassroots messaging. And if we're not having the conversation with those that are in power to represent us, then we're doing a lot of stuff for naught. And
now, what did she say that was wrong?
Like I said, a lot of things that you brought up, many of us agree with. But if we're not having the conversations with those that are elected, then we are giving them a pass to say, "Oh, I don't know about."
Right, benign and neglect, neglect, and that's Tariq's favorite two words: benign and neglect. And you are giving them that reason to do that, Tariq, because you won't put it in their face. Now, watch this fool comeback. I mean, his comeback, and for people to accept his comeback, really just shows you how, as Black people, we're not ready. We're not ready for change. We're not ready to complain. We're not ready to get any type of benefit. Look at this full response. After this, he should be taken no more serious than Dave Chappelle, Cat Williams.
This or this is not an issue, or as the young man was saying earlier, to kind of be talked down to, like, oh, young man, go do some research or what have you. So when you're going to DC, I would just ask, because I have clients that work in DC, have these meetings, have these conversations, because if nothing else, at least the dialogue puts it on their radar. And then as you're organizing in communities and the data starts to present, there is a movement behind these legislative issues, that it becomes more populous and more on the radar, and we can possibly get candidates to run on the same platforms and actually elect people who are going to do the work.
Yeah. Now, I will say that.
All right, now get ready. Let me just grab my water. Get ready for the flim flam. Like, this is crazy. This is unbelievable how we accept this from people who are supposed to represent our views. All right, give me a second to grab my stuff. All right. Here we go.
That these elected officials, they are fully aware of what we want, and they know exactly what we talk about.
So he went that route. He went, instead of sit down with these people and letting them know exactly what you want face to face, he goes the route to say, no, he goes the conspiracy right, the route, right, where they're listening on his telephone calls, his live podcasts, and his Twitter accounts. They all know what the agenda is as far as his movement. I mean, but dude, you don't want to submit it to him face to face. So I mean, you like when you submit things to people, like you do it in person, you do it mail, you do it, email, you do it various ways to make sure they got it, especially if it's important to you to deliver that message to them or that product to them, whatever, a message to them. You want to make sure that they got it. There's no way you ain't get it. It's important. You need this. And without this, our business is incomplete. So I got to make sure you're going to retrieve this message, not this guy.
As you know, they have data research specialists that sit online and literally monitor the vibes and the moods and the language and some of the trends that.
So he went that route, that they already knowing his talking points are. And look,
go on with these conversations. They are fully aware of who we are. They are fully aware of what we want. And the name of the game for them is to continue the benign neglect policy by promising.
My man, you're helping them. You're helping them because they can say, no, what you just said was a lie. Prove that we know your talking points. Prove we got these tools. We're prove that we are monitoring your Twitter feeds and your, YouTube accounts and Instagram preaching. Prove that we're watching your Hidden Color movies. Prove all this stuff. I mean, that's disrespectful to his fan base, to his viewership, to his movement, to Black people in general. Like, that's just crazy. And this is the type of disrespect that we accept from our own. Now, if that was a white representative that's supposed to have our best interests talking like that, we would out them. We would embarrass them. Imagine that being a white person from Breakfast Club talking like that. Well, now I ain't got to go talk to Black people directly to ask them what their issue is with police officers and injustices and blah, blah, blah. I pretty much hear their grunts and complaints on YouTube and Twitter feeds. So I get it. I get it. Yeah, but you don't want to go ask them directly? No, I don't have to. I monitor their Twitter accounts. I know their grievances.
Promising us nothing, but still getting us to vote. When they had the Black Lives Matter thing popping off some years back, there was a memo that was leaked. WikiLeaks leaked that memo from the DNC sending out talking points. And one of the talking points was talk to some of the Black Lives Matter activists, but make sure to not promise anything. Just listen to them and let them speak, but do not promise anything tangible. Do not promise any type of money.
Okay, so let's see if that's true. You're supposed to be on that. Like that, again, that's something you would bring towards them. When you have that meeting with them, you'll say, now listen, I watched that, I read that WikiLeaks article, how you operate. So we don't want these false promises or these promises that don't lead up to anything tangible. Like we're on you on that. So we're gonna follow up, we're gonna be on you, we're gonna make sure that something materialized from this meeting. That's all. Anyway. Mitch says, he also says blacks should withhold. Yeah. Like that whole, yeah. At that point, and this, and I hate to say community, but for lack of better words, in this community, right, we are trigger happy to call each other ops, right? Agents, informants, snitches. We're trigger happy. A small disagreement. You believe in Kobe's better than LeBron. You're an agent. You dig? So Tariq tells people to don't vote. Let the Republicans win. I mean, that's a perfect opportunity to call him an op, an agent. You're letting one side win. Like they just get the win. Like they don't need to offer anything, no money. They just get the win because you're mad at. I mean, that's crazy. But that's his talking points, and he's not called an agent for that or an informant.
Or any type of resource. So that's the game they like to play. They want to talk and have these little listening sessions. I don't want to have a listening session. I want to have a check writing session. I want my check. We need money. They didn't have a listening section with Asians.
Bro, you're right. They didn't have a listening section with Asians. They actually spoke to them. They actually went to the White House or went where they had to go to actually speak to these people. They didn't say, nah, they know our sentiments. They know our grievances. They know all this stuff. They just hear us crying in the background. They should respond. Well, they still got to ask you, what do you want? and we could work something out and see how if it's possible, plausible, realistic. You still got to meet with the person. Why is he so scared to meet with them?
They start giving them money intangibles. They're not having listening sessions with some of the Hispanic families that were caught on the border. They start giving them money out here in California, where I live. They're giving them all types of food, all types of financial resources, free medical resources that they don't give us. They're not talking about anything. They're just doing it. So this benign neglect policy, where we as Black people, if we have to get something, we got to just
the benign neglect policy that he supports.
Continue to spin our wheels and talk and sing and dance, that's over. They need to start writing them checks to us, or we will not vote for them, and we'll start a whole different political party if need be.
Oh shit, you that extreme?
This is an iPhone 11 Pro from Back Market.
Hey yo, my man is so hell bent on not speaking to who he believes is his ops that he'll start a whole political party, or attempt to. Bro, he'll attempt to, just so he don't got to talk to him. That's some scared stuff. And that's because he knows that they're gonna call him on his talking points. What's unrealistic? What's realistic? You know, they're gonna really challenge him. And my man is afraid like the hell to go before Congress and talk about what he talks about in his lives, where only his viewership is, you know, the judge and jury, right? Come on. Pretty much what Elijah Muhammad did. Elijah Muhammad had those in-house speeches where he was the Malachi, your book. He was the prophet Muhammad. What do you say? I'm the Elijah of your Bible. I'm the prophet Muhammad of your Quran. You know, all those private meetings he'll do that, but he won't do that publicly. You know, that's what we do, because we don't want scrutiny. We don't want to be corrected. We don't want inspection. We want free reign to say whatever we want to say without it being challenged. And they come on his live, same thing. They come on his live and say stupid stuff. When I challenge them, they get upset, they hang up, all type of stuff goes on.
They specialize in refurbished devices that feel like new at secondhand pricing. Now,
so I hear what you're saying.
You've been a reparationist for what, 5 years?
I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, it's always a clown in the background. So now you got Luke, you got the sister who really want to get to the bottom line. It's always a clown somewhere who just hate Tariq, the person, you know, more than his argument. And they want to, yeah. And now the sister, like, she's trying to hold him to something. And this fool just gave this Tariq out. That's why I hate people like that, man. Hate people like that. It's always there giving somebody an out when somebody got him by the you know what. He loses his family vacation. He wants them.
Reparations for 5 years. What are you talking about, sir?
I said you've been in the active in the reparation space for what, 5 years?
No, a decade. If you go back to some of my tweets going back a decade,
See, the sister like, see, now you're making this guy get a cheap W.
Been talking about it. You go pull up an interview I did on the Breakfast Club in 2016. I've been talking about reparations. I've been talking about reparations. I've been ahead of this thing a long time, brother. You go to my movies, the Hidden Colors films that I did decades ago, or a decade ago, we were talking about one of the solutions being reparations. I've been on this wave, sir. This is not new at all for me.
Well, you were Pan-Africanist first.
God,
come on now.
I respect my African brothers and sisters because I have African genetics, sir. I haven't denied being a person of African descent. I am also a foundational Black American, which makes me a very unique person, and I respect and honor my ancestral lineage. What's wrong with that, sir?
You ain't have to call them feathers, but I'll let it go. Go ahead.
Shut up, man.
I'll just share with you real quick, because like I said, we were running this data, and I can only speak for Florida, right? That's where I'm at, and so
Okay, so at this point, she's tired of playing. She's going for the nuclear bomb button. All right, she's tired of playing, and she's going for the nuclear bomb button right now. Hold on. All right, let it fly.
and percentage of our voters here, and the issues that are on the ballot in our state right now, right? Housing is number one. That's an issue in our state. The cost of insurance is number two. Food insecurity is number three. These are the issues that voters are saying that are their priorities for this midterm election. Healthcare, infrastructure, public safety, environment, and they're broken down, 1, 2, 3% here and there for a few other issues. And that's, so I can tell you in my state, these are the issues that elected officials are going to be running on. They're going to be talking about the cost of housing, insurance, food insecurity, healthcare, infrastructure, public safety, environment. But there will be no dialogue in Florida around reparations.
Okay.
Not this cycle.
And here's the thing: there's not.
Now, watch the comeback. Like, she let him know the talking points of the people. The people are talking, and they're talking to the politicians, and they telling them what they want. What's more dear to them? What's more important to them? Right? So she's saying your talking points aren't there, and they're not there because you're not working the way she said she was working. 68 people all throughout Florida, the board, the schools, and like, dude, you just got Marcel and some other women too, but you can't even galvanize 10 people, 15, 20 people to, you could say, infiltrate a system and push your agenda.
No popularity, the whole LGBT thing, a lot of people are actually against that. A lot of people don't like a lot of the LGBT stuff being promoted on Netflix and Disney. Down in Florida, in Disneyland, there's LGBT flags all over the place. And I know a lot of people in Florida are just not with that, but they still get legislation passed for LGBT people. They still get tangibles passed for LGBT groups, even though I would say most people are against it. So if most people are against something, that's not going to stop us from still campaigning and stumping for what we deserve and what we're supposed to get. Anti-Black racism is a very popular thing. We have a choice to go along with it or not go along with it. I'm not going along with it, and neither.
Yo, what is he talking about? I was completely lost. Like, dude, she just said that none of your talking points were on the table in this coming election in Florida. She's letting you know how talking points get there. You give the people the talking points, you convince them why they should have these things, why they're necessary. And the people language start to change, and they go back to the politicians and say, you know what, remember I said I want this right here? I still want that, but this right here is more priority. What is this guy talking about?
Are some of our other brothers and sisters, just because they've tried to normalize that. What's been going on where we're stopping that right now because we don't have time to wait anymore. So respect to what you do down there. That's a great thing, doing the data and getting all the research together.
That's a great thing, doing the data, getting the research together. Why can't you do that in your movement?
But we are going to stick to our guns and say we have to be prioritized as a foundational Black American lineage.
Yeah, he addressed nothing that she just said.
Group.
Can I ask a question about data since Nikki was asking that question? Is that okay?
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like, but if you look closer, it's actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It's what.
Yeah, that thing real to me.
Yes.
Okay. You, I don't know what your involvement was, but you were promoting the campaigns of the Senate candidate in Georgia and also a congressional candidate in South Carolina.
Yes.
Both.
Okay. Yes. He all strong. Now watch it. This is embarrassing, man. This is very embarrassing.
Them, one got 4.5% of the vote and the other one got 3%.
Now, this brother did a great job of even better than the sister. He's going to handcuff the hell out of Tariq Nasheed. I mean, embarrass them. I mean, they were really ready, except for that clown yelling out, "Hey, man, Pan-Africanist, you just was on reparations 5 years ago." That clown. These three, Luke, the sister, this guy right here, Tariq didn't stand a chance.
0.9% of the vote in those states.
So he's saying the two people that Tariq Nasheed set up in politics to run for mayor or something like that in two different states, they only amassed 4.8% of the votes. 4.8. So that means like 95.2 was left out, right? So he missed out on all those people. Watch this.
Both of them ran on the messages. A lot of the messages that you are.
So both of those candidates ran with your talking points, right? And only got 4.8% of the votes. I think he got 4. She probably got 7%.
Advertising now. I also work in a data capacity in my job. our biggest consumer in my job are African Americans and Blacks around the world. I have never had reparations come up in any survey or poll we've ever done, ever come up in a survey or poll of African Americans in this country, ever. So
God, he said ever. That's sad. I mean, that's sad. That's nothing to pump your chest on. That's sad how we just don't want any repair. No repairs. We just chalked it up. Oh, well, man, white supremacy, put us in this hole, this forever hole, this hell hole, and we'll just figure it out one day. That's sad that we don't. So, that's, it's very sad.
So I'm wondering why, in your opinion, did Marcel fail so badly in South Carolina and the young woman fail so badly in Georgia? If these are issues that you believe are important to our community, why is it not connecting to our community?
Good question. All right. You feel like this message is so important that nobody in his capacity, in his line of work, people even mention it. And he said he focused primary his customers or his client base or whatever he's doing, he's surveying is Black people all across the world, not just in America. And he said, why did those two fail so miserably if this is a talking point that has supposed to went viral?
Brother Marcel was only in politics for 6 months, and that was his first.
Now here come the excuses. I get it. Okay, so you're explaining. Okay, go ahead. You're explaining why they did so miserably. Okay.
Time in, and that brother made a phenomenal impact.
Now he said 4.8% was a phenomenal impact. All right.
Signal boosting of the message has been boosted up out there. So he
signal boosting of the message, dude. 4.8. That's a small person. That's not a boost.
Did exactly what he's supposed to do. A lot of times when people run, we understand that there's a slight possibility that they might actually win, but we also know that they're out there to disrupt the message. And that
4.8 is merely a slight possibility to win. That's like impossible.
That's exactly
so 4% is now considered a success now?
Yes, it is, because the message is out.
He said 4.8% is considered a win now. He said, yes, it is, because the message is out. But I remember the campaign I was going. Tariq, she was pushing these people, and he was acting like, they were amassing a lot of numbers and a lot of influence until the numbers came in and he was faced with the reality that nobody's ever rocking with them. And then he found a way to make it a win. This guy is a narcissist. Like, he's crazy. Yeah, you know what? It's some things that, we're new to politics. It's some things that we didn't have on our side, that we learned later that we should have done. So yeah, 4.8 this year. Hopefully, man, fourfold next year, make it 16%, and then, we're new at this and we're growing, we're trying to grow exponentially. So we go from 14 to 16 to 64%. You dig? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be at 64% in 4 years. Something like that.
Out there, and we got the brother out there to spew that message, and the message is out here resonating now. So we got to boost the message around the country. We going up against Clyburn. Clyburn has $1 gazillion behind him, and
all right. So now he said this. He mentioned money. He said we're going against Clyburn. Now this is what the brother gonna get him. He said we're going against Clyburn, and Clyburn got $1 gazillion behind him. So he's making it about money, which some people would too when it comes to politics, about raising money, right? So now he's making it about money, but this is where he messed up at. Watch this.
He's been in politics for 1,000,000 years, going up against a brother who was in politics for 6 months, and he had these Democrats shook. So that's a win for us.
He had the Democrats shook with only getting 4.8% of the vote, of the Black vote. I guess any vote. I can't say Black, any vote. 4.8, but he's got Democrats shook. Bro, that's like saying Republicans got Democrats shook in Democrat states like New Jersey, or Democrats got Republicans shook, and the Republicans, they don't got nobody shook. They expect to not get everybody. They expect a small percentage to go this or go that, but they know 80, 70, 90% of the votes is going to be in their favor. Come on, stop it. They can tell by the rallies, like this is an easy win. Who's showing up? The numbers.
And Next
But he
time
also did worse than the other Democrat that ran, and there were 2 Republicans that ran that he also did worse than too. So I'm just trying to.
So now he said, but he also did worse than the other 2 Democrats. No, the other Democrat and the other 2 Democrats. Something like other 2 Republicans. Something like that. He said. Let's go back.
And the message is out here resonating now. So we got to boost the message around the country. We going up against Clyburn. Clyburn has a gazelle who was in politics.
But he also did worse than the other Democrat that ran, and there were 2 Republicans that ran that he also did worse than too. So I'm just trying to understand
So he did worse than everybody, not just Clyburn.
You have this message that you believe connects with Black people. Why did the Black Republicans do better than he did? And why did the other Black Democrat that was running, who was also a conservative, also do better than he did?
So 2 other Black people did better than him. And they were both on different sides.
Because they have white money behind them. They have more money.
So you heard now he set Tariq up nicely because they got white money behind them. They got conservatives, so everything is about money. Clyburn money. And these guys' money is the reason why we did the worst. Watch this.
Money. It's just that simple.
He had more money than the other 3 candidates. So I'm trying to understand.
All right. So now, Tariq, you literally put your foot in your mouth. You literally put your foot in your mouth. He actually accumulated more money in campaigning funds than the other 2 candidates, the other 3 that was there. So in other words, the brother's saying Clyburn had the most money and Tariq's people were second. And then the other 3 were below him. So if it was about money, your people were second when it comes to getting money. And they still came in dead last, dead dirt last.
If we're talking about data and we're talking about facts, why did the person who had the second most amount of money in this race and also had the 4th amount of money of any of the people that were challenging an incumbent in South Carolina, why did he come in dead last of all these candidates that challenged him? It's just
so now he had the money. So now remember, Tariq made about money twice. Clyburn and these other candidates had white money. So that this is just a bad, this is a guy who just horrible in this lane. No analytics, no data. He don't even know why he lost, and he don't even know where he went wrong at. Like he doesn't even understand. Like they did good as far as the money, they just did bad as far as the strategy and the planning, because they don't meet with anybody. So my man gave him a bone actually, right? Saying, nah, money wise, y'all did good. Because I'm sure Tariq, by his own, account, thought they didn't do good with money. He thought they did the worst.
not computing.
Okay, now because you're just kind of rambling off random numbers, and you kind of.
So now he's rambling off random numbers. And he did not. He was very clear. Your guy came in second.
I'll say it again slower. Of all the candidates that challenged an incumbent, he came dead last in the state.
I'm a transgender woman, and my dream was always to be loved and be accepted.
Ask your healthcare provider if Biktarvy is right for you, and visit Biktarvy.com to view the important facts, including important warnings.
Not bad for that one.
If you shop on Amazon, you should use this tool. It's a browser extension
What was that commercial about? Just what was that commercial about? I'm a transgender. I just want to be loved. Like what was that about? Loved by who? By whom?
The others that ran against Clyburn.
Like people make things a problem when there's no problem. Like I love how when it comes to a black person, they say, "Oh, because so-and-so gay," then the black person be like, "Nah, my cousin gay or my brother gay," and then they get quiet. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, why do you think we're foreign to the LGBTQIA plus community? Yeah, like we always had relatives, a relative or relatives, or aunt, somebody, cousin, brother that was living that lifestyle. Like, this is not new to us. We don't pick with them. We don't, this is black families. We don't excommunicate them at the dinner table with jokes. Nah, it'd be a family event. We just ignore it. Ignore what we disagree with.
another Democrat that ran, and two other Republicans. He had 7 times more money than the other 3 combined. Why did he?
He had. Who? Look how stupid and incompetent this brother is. Who? He didn't even know this stuff. He had 7 times the amount than the other people combined. He had hella money. Watch this. Who? This guy is stupid.
Of the 3 others that ran against Clyburn, another Democrat that ran, and 2 other Republicans, he had 7 times more money than the other 3 combined. Why did he do so well?
Who had 7 times?
Marcel had 7 times more money than the other 3 candidates combined. So why did he do so poorly with a message that you said connects to the Black community? Why did he do so poorly? And why?
And don't forget, because you made it about money. You said your people got blown out by Clyburn because of the gazillion dollars Clyburn got. And then when he pointed out, well, he did worse than the other candidates. Then you lied with your fake analytics and data. You lied and made up some stuff and said, hoping you was throwing the dart at the board, the dartboard, the bullseye at nighttime, pitch black. He was hoping it hit it. Dude, you hit your grandmother in the head with it. You messed up. You was hoping that your guy didn't amass no money. You was hoping that he was last with the money. You was hoping that lie was true. And it bit you hard, and now you're just blindsided. They got this guy good.
Why did the young lady in Georgia do poorly too? She actually did better than Marcel. So, like, why did they do so poorly if this message you're saying connects with voters?
Well, nobody knows who those other people are, but everybody knows.
Wait, what? Now he changed. Now he's moving the goalposts. Before it was about money. Now nobody knows who they are, but they know who Marcel is. Go ahead.
Who Marcel is.
But
So
they got
that
more
right there
votes.
is-
Okay, you're saying they know who Marcel
Nationwide.
is, but they got more votes than Marcel.
Nationwide, yes. More people know who Marcel is. So
So
Marcel.
is Marcel going to run for president? Because
No.
even running for president, it's on a state-by-state basis. So I'm trying to understand, how does Marcel getting people to donate for him, or getting people that support him in Brooklyn, or you live in Los Angeles, I know you used to live in Detroit, you used to live in Alabama, you've had a lot of upward mobility, but I'm trying to understand, how does having all these people from all these gentrifying areas help people in Georgia, which is the 2nd blackest state in the country, and South Carolina, which is the 6th most blackest state in the country, and where most Black people come from in this country? Why is he unable to connect with Black people in Black districts and Black states?
He is able to connect with them.
He came in dead last.
Doesn't matter out there in South Carolina.
How are you connecting with voters and finishing dead last? I'm confused on that. But I'm going to move on from that. I have one other question. I'm going to be quiet.
No, slow down, brother, because now you're just doing word salad. All right.
No, he's not.
I think I was
because he's new in politics. That's why. He's new in politics in that local area. And a lot of those people are.
Yo, he just said a whole bunch of excuses. Now he's new in politics. I mean, God damn, this guy, Tariq. Yeah, sometimes you gotta just say, listen, man, I said what I said, and I'm moving on from that. Next question. But to keep trying to justify that, making up stuff, like, you look really bad, bro. And I want to play when Andrew Schultz. I should play that one next when he beat up Tariq. I might play that one next.
Aren't online and they're not checking out what people are doing. But again,
Warnock was new in politics. Warnock was new in politics too, and he got elected. But my final question: you said that there was nothing done for Black protection in regards to a crime and in regards to hate crimes. And I just read something recently that the person that did the Buffalo shooting was charged with a hate crime. Do you know what bill he was charged under?
What bill, sir? And why does it matter?
No, you said that there wasn't a hate crime bill for Black people, and the guy that shot the Black people was charged with a hate crime. Do you know what bill he was charged under?
Tariq.
What bill was he charged under?
Tariq, well, at least he asked what bill. Like, some narcissists can't even ask that question.
I think it was the James Byrd Jr. hate crimes bill that was like written to target.
Name the whole bill. Name the whole. No, don't you do that. Name that whole bill. It's not just
James Byrd Jr. and
Matthew Shepard.
Matthew Shepard bill. Yeah.
Right. Name the whole thing. The white LGBT dude.
But the James Bird was black that was dragged. I mean, do we not care about black people that are
okay,
lynched?
stop it. They taxed on James Bird because they were really putting that bill together for the white LGBT community.
Well, we can't believe you any further, right? We can't. Well, as far as this discussion, as far as this live, we can't trust you on that because you're the same guy that said the other candidates that blew out Marcel had more money. So now we're gonna trust you on this? You the same guy that won't go. You're going to the Capitol Hill, but you won't go meet with anybody. And I see why now. You can't talk. You don't know anything. You don't know any data or analytics.
But they knew that white LGBT people are not really aggrieved like that, so they had to attach a black person to it to pop your collar about. The dude sat here and confessed to a.
No, that's not. Look, if we can't trust you right now, but let's say what you're saying is correct. What does it matter? His point was he was charged under a hate crime, and part of a hate crime bill, they had a black man in mind. That's all.
Murder that he did on film. I'm not popping.
Was it James Bird, the guy that got drugged by the pickup truck, something like that? His body went into pieces, something like that. They did to him, some crazy, sick.
My collar to some damn hate crime bill, and the dude basically confessed. Is that what
so? You hate crime bills actually stop people from doing hate crimes?
Are you that you're hanging your hat on a crime that was done on?
I'm just asking a question. Do you think hate crime bills actually stop people from doing crimes?
You don't.
Hold up.
Good question. So, and look, see, that's the thing, because then he'll say that the taking the signs down from the segregation period, the racial bias signs, the discrimination signs that says the segregated signs, no black folks here or can't drink. Like, we would say taking those signs down in racism. So he just saying, so a hate crime bill, what's that gonna do? It gonna stop hate crime? Like what are you standing on?
Hold up. Let me ask Mr. Tariq something.
I'm gonna drop down.
Mr. Tariq, do you see in the near future bringing all these groups together to support the Black agenda? Everybody just gonna do their own thing?
Utter chaos.
Hi, Dream. Listen up. Life is a...
You're muted, Tariq, if you're talking.
My bad. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Well, I'm a foundational Black American by lineage, so whatever.
Oh boy. So I was looking at sovereignty because it says supreme power or authority. So when you have sovereignty, and then I went back and I did this, a supreme ruler, especially a monarch. And so you got sovereign citizens in this country, right? Or who wants to be sovereign citizen. And when the definition was explained, like what it is what you read right now. It's a person that make up their own rules. Like nobody can tell them what to do. If you look at our community right now, like there's no moral code, there's no moral values, like there's nothing. We're all on code. There's no dress code, there's no way we marry, no way we eat, there's no way we communicate, no way we fellowship. Like everybody is literally their own ruler. They make up their own laws. Even in criminal activities, we make up our own rules, the street, the rule. Nobody listens to anybody. So I was saying, man, I think we like sovereign neighbors. Like you dig? You got sovereign citizens who are pseudo people, crazy extremists. And in our neighborhoods, we got sovereign neighbors. Like everybody got their own rules and law. And when you have that sovereignty package in your neighborhood, you have total chaos. This person discipline their kid this way. This person does not, does it totally different. But we all live in the same community. So that kid, if your way is ineffective, then what happens when you discipline somebody incorrectly? That means they don't get it, right? They don't rehabilitate, they don't get better, they don't learn. and they return back to that same action even worse when they get older. So like you're brewing a community of just misfits, or at the very least, you're just building a community of total chaos where everybody got their own law. You can't tell me anything. And look, some Kanye West stuff. You can't tell me nothing because think about it. Today, like, who can tell somebody they're wrong in our community? Like, yeah, you wrong for that. They're like, shit, man, that's my rule. You talking about your rule, I'm wrong, but my rule, I'm right. Every household has its own rules, its own take your shoes off, all that craziness, you know. But anyway, let me go back. Yeah, so we became sovereign. I was trying to get a better word. Sovereign pseudos. Now I can't even say pseudo because pseudo that term really applied to the community, this conscious community. But sovereign, I don't want to say it in a pleasant way where it's like it's looked at as something great. But I say sovereign neighbors, but I think it's something better to attach to sovereign, where it fit that chaos that's in our neighborhoods and our communities.
Whatever I do, I'm still going to be an FBA. If other groups want to support anything that Foundational Black Americans are doing, they're welcome to do so. That's on them. We've always supported all of these other groups, and we're on our.
I believe, yeah, Tariq Nasheed. This is his channel. He aired this. Like you do, you thought you did good. Flim Flam, peace. Tariq is yeah. Tariq is definitely admirable. He has the Dan Calloway talking points about with Native Americans, that type of stuff. The Native Americans are black. You know, everybody black. Like it's funny. Like his definition of black is funny because he'll call Native Americans and I don't know. Like his definition of black is crazy. It's not sound because it's anybody who's just dark skinned.
Ancestral homeland that
I guess got some melanin. I don't know. It's a funny way he defined black people. And at first it's everybody, and then it's nobody, and then it's just Americans. I don't know. It's I'll be confused on his definition of black. But yeah, so since the Native Americans were supposed to be dark, they're black, and they are the same as Black Americans. It's some weird shit.
We built. So we're always going to look out for the best interest of Black people here. That's a given. But other groups, when they come over, are they going to be on our wave? Are they going to try to reinforce us, or are they going to try to get with the dominant society to work against us? So that's a question for people who are non-FBA.
Let me ask you: do you have the numbers to I mean, obviously you said you're not going to meet with congressmen and women in the Senate, and you guys are going to do a rally. Do you have the numbers around the country to actually push the electric to create a bill, to address all your tangibles?
Yeah. We have enough numbers to make a significant impact, just like we did in California. In California, again, with the reparations task force, they were trying to do some trick bag stuff with the reparations task force, and we put our eyes on them, and we forced them to do the right thing as far as having the language correct, as far as giving the tangibles to our lineage and not just making it race-based. Because if you have race-based reparations, that opens the door to white Hispanics, to Asians, and all these other groups, and then it turns into affirmative action, which ultimately undermines foundational Black Americans because everybody else will be prioritized. So we are very, very specific about prioritizing our specific group for tangibles, especially when it pertains to the enslavement of our people. When we talk about reparations, a lot of people try to mix in, well, what about all the racism that other people had to face too? Slavery, specific act descendants, a template for the French and places claim.
I'm guilty of it too. Now I call some people some wild names myself, but
yeah. So Tariq goes back to his talking points. Like he's more comfortable with his talking points, and he wants you to challenge that little BS he just spilled. Like he wants you to challenge that. He's prepared to argue that. He's not prepared to argue what your research and what you pulled up, and that's why he keeps talking that. And he says it real strongly, inviting you to a challenge. And they're not falling for it. They're letting them go, and then they back asking like serious questions. But I think we're kind of done here. Let's see.
Calling these congressmen and women, these names, you think that's gonna get you?
Yeah, so he like, yo, you calling them names, but the goal is to get them to listen to you and push some stuff through. So he like, yo, calling them names, you think that's gonna get you closer to your goal?
Get them in the long run to create a bill and sponsor and co-sponsor and.
I'm a transgender woman, and my dream
All right, so now let's hear the dream. Your dream is what?
was always to be loved and be accepted.
Ask your healthcare provider.
What? What is this about? What's this about? What is this about? Big Tarvey right for you. What is this? Big Tarvey. Be loved, Big Tarvey. That must be some. Is that some old like turn your body? Big Tarvey. Solid under the name brand. Big Tarvey is a fixed dose combination. Oh man. Oh, this is yeah. Why was the message so hidden? This was a medication for HIV or AIDS. I'm wondering why this person complaining about being loved. Like, what are we talking? Wait, why? Who don't love you? This is an AIDS advertisement pill. It's not even clear because the person's complaining about not being loved.
Provider if Big Tarvey is right for you. And visit BigTarvey.com to view the important facts, including important warnings.
What the hell?
Hair loss looks
Yo, man. Yo, the monkeypox that's like went loose in New York. They say that most of the people infected by it are men, and those men are gay men. You know, I from what I read, it looks like there's some gay sexual disease, something like that. I don't know. Don't quote me. In fact, let me read it. It's in my phone. Let me read that real fast. So it says most confirmed cases have been among men. About monkeypox. Most confirmed monkeypox cases have been among men who have sex with men, although anyone can be affected with the virus. Okay, so most confirmed cases have been among men who have sex with men. So they made it by that language. It sounds like a sexual disease, right? That happens between two men.
different on every.
I'm only bringing it up, and like that was not part of this show at all. I only brought it up because of the commercial, right? It came on twice. I'm like, yeah, what the hell? The first time I ignored it. The second time, I'm like, wait, what? Who's not loving you? And what the hell is Big Tarvey?
Whether it's a receding hairline, balding spots,
and get it passed.
Now, when we're in these Twitter spaces, sometimes it will morph into a roast session, then everybody can get that work. But when we're sitting down having a real conversation about getting some real tangible policies done, we know how to code switch and get our decorum right and get our conversation together and talk like we got some sense. You know, we know how to flip it when it needs to be flipped. Now, in some of these Twitter space rooms, sometimes it can get janky, sometimes it can get intellectual, sometimes it can turn into all-out roast sessions. Everybody can get burned, everybody can get touched. But we understand if we got some serious contenders who are in politics doing that.
Who's the spokesperson?
There's no spokesperson. There's several spokespersons. So anybody can be a spokesperson.
Anybody.
We just want people who have a reputation within the community of looking out for the best interest of the community.
So who's going to make that call?
When you and Roland gonna sit down and talk on one of these platforms?
Lord, your boy. Now, Roland, let's be very clear. Roland started on me first term some years back because they did some data research and they saw that a lot of people were thoughtful, and Roland got on air just really going time. They attacked me over some stuff.
Hold on, not to cut you off, but
yeah,
shit. If you, I mean, went against Hillary and everybody know you that powerful to.
Oh yeah. Let me back up.
If you hold on
over some stuff, and the Democrats, they spoke for black people following me and because they did some data. They blame me for. Be very clear. Roland started on me.
All right, yeah, my bad. I skipped past him tooting his horn. Now now this is where I was like totally blown away from this conversation. All right, so he said his candidates got blown out because they didn't have any money. And then it turned out the candidates that blew his peoples out, his people accumulated 7 times the amount with all 3 of the candidates that blew him out, you know, except for Clyburn. Clyburn blew him out by himself. I'm sorry, I mix it up. Clyburn's the only candidate that blew him out. The other 3 combined, his candidate made 7 times, had 7 times more campaign funding than those 3 combined, right? Right. So now we're just confused because he made it up about money. And then when he realized his guy had a lot of money and he still got blown up by people with less money, he was caught off guard. So now he's going to toot his horn how powerful and influential he is. Watch this.
First.
And Luke going to be like, wait a minute, watch.
A while back, because they blamed me for Hillary not getting elected in the midterm some years back, because they did some data research and they saw that a lot of people were following me and getting my advice to.
So now he's back heavily influential, right? People was following him, listening to him about Hillary, and they reserved their vote for Hillary. Like they said, nah, we ain't gonna vote for her. This is what he said.
Not vote for Hillary because Hillary and the Clintons have been horrible for Black people. And Roland got on air just really going in on me. And the Democrats, they send their shields down to attack me all the time. They attacked me over some stuff with Kamala Harris when she was about to get elected. So
hold on. Not to cut you off, but
yeah,
shit, if you I mean, went against Hillary and everybody know you that powerful to not help her get elected, goddamn, well, they should all be shaking in the boots when you coming, right?
All right.
Hey, you know, a lot of them, again, they monitor what I do. And I've heard that some people who work for the DMC, they get little notes and memos about me all the time. They come in my rooms and, you know, they come and try to disrupt. So they know exactly who I am.
But that's why I'm just saying, I can't tell you how to do what you do. But
right.
I think it would, I just think, I mean, if you sit down and have a meeting with the devils and the whatever you want to call them, and you sit there and you say, look here, man, I need, y'all Congress, you got 2 years,
I feel like I'm spending way too much time dealing with other people's problems. How do I set boundaries with them?
Would you like me to set an alarm?
How do I get rid of toxic relationships?
He sells all the.
I am not sure how to answer that.
If I'm so scared of rejection,
I need you to, do what you do. Where's the check?
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying? Where the check at now? If you don't get the check now, we gonna mount up against you. And now I can genuinely say it. I met with Congresswoman, man, XYZ, and we told them this is what we need. And now they didn't do that. I'm going back to the community.
Right.
Hey, look here, man. They gotta go.
Right.
You feel me? And now at the end of
elected officials, and the same thing I'm telling you that you're agreeing on, they disagreed. So I'm saying that we could be a stronger voice than me, right? I want to go back. You ain't got to say anything. Just your support is a voice. So when I go back, your support is going with me. And now I'm coming back with, 10,000 voices or 4,000, 400, whatever voices to say, I'm not alone. What are we going to do now? And I can't pre-record it. I done this live, I think 2 days ago. So I was just playing it back because I went live pretty late in the day. Eastern time, about, who knows, 10:30, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. So really, really late. But I knew a lot of people didn't see it, didn't hear it. So that's why I just did it over, so you guys can check it out at an earlier time. But I will be live in 4 hours, 4.5 hours, 7:30 Eastern time. So just, if you're new, just subscribe and, catch me outside. How about that? Catch me at 7 o'clock, 7:30 Eastern time. We're gonna run it back, Turbo. All right, so I gotta get some work done. Wheezy. Out of here. Yeah, Tariq Nasheed looked like a fool after this dialogue. A straight fool. He never answered any question directly. It was embarrassing. I gotta